So you want to know what it's like in my high school? Well, the truth is, there's not a single person in this place worth remembering. Some people here are fake, so they stick to their cliques to hide it. I mean, the stoners are medicated, the honor students are afraid, and the jocks, well, they're jocks, man. They'll peak at 17, and their cheerleader girlfriends will be fat and lonely by 21. Losers. Everyone here is a loser. And the truth is, every day I have to come to this school is one less day I have to come back. Here we go.
Welcome to the jungle, or should I say high school? After all, isn't this where evolution ultimately takes us back to? I guess that would make us all animals. You see, underneath all of our higher functions, our principles, and our level of intellect, our natural instincts are basically the same. Our rules, when stripped of its false coating of genuine compassion, are the laws of the animal kingdom. As predators, we bring misery upon those who we deem inferior. As prey, we try to remain in the shadows, hoping to get by without coming into harm's way. We are animals, and we always travel in packs. Just as malicious, as deceptive, and as juvenile. Or at least that's what pre-existing stereotypes and standard generalizations tell us about typical teenage social group behaviors. Maybe we're looking in the wrong place. In fact, I think it's time we hit the scene of the everlasting crime itself. High school, here we come. So Ashley and I set out to explore the mystery that is the behaviors and interactions, or lack of, between the different social groups / cliques at MCI. In this documentary, we define people as either a loner, someone who chooses not to assimilate with society, a social outcast, someone who is rejected or excluded from a societal group and therefore forced to be on their own, and non-loners, or the elites, those who are fortunate enough to have friends and fit in with general society.
We believe we live in a society where people are judged based on their physical appearance and image, interests, idealisms, and other factors, which is reinforced and encouraged through external factors like media and other social pressures, ultimately clouding the average individual's own judgment.
Why?
I don't know, I want to go to Starbucks.
Get that
Because it's so small there in the Starbucks. I don't like it. So let's hear what some of our very own MCI students had to say. Why is our society set up in such a way that promotes exclusion so heavily? Why are people so inclined to associate only with those of their own social group?
So what is your overall perception of loners and social outcasts? Do you think they are at fault for their condition, and how do they make you feel?
I do feel bad when I see them. Like, I understand, like, maybe it's just their personality. Like, they don't want to be associated with other people, but as I said, like, they could, like, it's not their fault. Maybe, like, they're just like that. Like, they don't want to be around a lot of people. They like to be alone, or they like to be more independent. So, like, it could be their choice too.
So how do you honestly feel about the way that general society treats you? And do you think that they're at fault for your quality of life?
I feel that in general, like society, they give me dirty looks, like most of the time, or often, or they're just a little more like quiet around me. Except for like some people, like my friends, who accept me for who I am.
You asked about why social outcasts are the way they are, and you asked questions about the title. It's a terrible title. Outcast means something to be thrown away. You know, you outcast something. You've been branded not wanted here. You're not welcome. It's horrible, and it can be catastrophic to a younger person. Why have they been that way? Sometimes, perhaps, they've deserved it. Perhaps they've done something that cannot be forgiven. Other times, perhaps that person is so different, and going against the norm, being different, although it can be authentic and unique, can be dangerous as other people are threatened by anything that deviates from the norm.
The factors that define me being a loner, my interests, my hobbies, my personality, my style. It's everything about me. I don't care. It's all just superficial. It's like a high school TV drama. It's like who's dating who, who's wearing what, who broke up with who, and it's not my, like, I march to the beat of my own drum. If my ideals, my beliefs, all of that is being put in jeopardy, I will become an extrovert. I will talk, and I will talk and talk until my ideals are proven and why I believe in them. And if otherwise, then I'm an introvert. I kind of pull back.
Wait, this doesn't look so bad. So what if people only choose to assimilate with those who are similar to them? It's not like they're actually hurting each other physically, right? On December 14, 2012, Adam Lanza killed 26 people, including 20 children at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. Before driving to the school, Lanza shot and killed his mother Nancy at their home. As first responders arrived, he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. Students and teachers who knew him in high school described him as intelligent but nervous and fidgety. He avoided attracting attention and was uncomfortable socializing. He was known to haven't had any close friends in school since he was seen as a quiet, withdrawn loner. Lanza was also known to have a social anxiety disorder. On April 20, 1999, in Littleton, Colorado, two high school seniors, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, enacted an all-out assault on Columbine High School during the middle of the school day. The boys' plans was to kill hundreds of their peers. With guns, knives, and a multitude of bombs, the two boys walked the hallways and killed. 12 students, one teacher, and the two murderers were dead, plus 21 more were injured. They committed suicide right after the assault, partially because they hated humanity for turning them into social outcasts. This was known as one of the biggest school shooting massacres in history. A compilation of secondary school rampage shootings and verified post-Columbine attempted shootings includes 38 middle and high school rampage shooters from 36 separate instances.
But I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
When you hear about like shootings and like that kind of stuff happens in school and like kids that get like really hurt, and like I think like for me to stop it, like it's probably not in my hands, like because to that extent of them thinking that they want to go shoot people, like kill somebody, like they would actually need to get like maybe help from like another like a professional.
Sometimes like I can't help but to kind of like feel regret, or to feel like, you know, oh, like could I have done something to prevent that from happening? Like if you just look at someone like that right now, like an outcast or a loner, and you're just like, oh, you know, they're sad, whatever, they don't have friends, but they'll make it. But when something like a school shooting happens, you wonder, you sit there and wonder, like, oh damn, were they really that sad? Like, were they really that depressed that they had to go and kill others just to let their sadness out?
People don't have a responsibility to talk to these people, but I don't think bullying continues. I don't think the fact that we haven't made a more inclusive society for loners and social outcasts, that we should be at fault for bullying these people.
Issues such as social discrimination often have adverse effects on people in society, such as violence, school shootings, drugs, depression, and suicide. As a modern society, we have become so desensitized towards these news stories that we believe them to be normal, common occurrences in life. We have become so blind and ignorant towards these issues that these loners and social outcasts feel that they are not valued enough by other members of society, that they must act in revenge. The unaffected don't think it's a serious issue, right? They think it's all their fault, but have you ever thought that you may be to blame?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue.
Unhappiness is a very, very bad thing, and it can manifest itself into very, very dark demons. such as depression, what some people call black dog depression. And when you're depressed, there's no telling what you'll do. And some people have so much anger in them, are so upset for what other human beings have done to them, that it's only natural for them to want to seek some type of revenge. And sometimes they can do horrible things to themselves, or to others, or to themselves plus others.
Are you kidding me? So the unspoken divide between people of different social natures has become so severe to the point where students are actually turning to violence for release? And to make things worse, we are expected to believe that there's no one to truly blame for all of this, or no way to actually prevent it from happening again? But why? Maybe we have to consider another factor that has a huge impact on teens' lives today.
Media is the reason why there's a great divide between loners and society. Basically, it's just, they have set norms, or cliques. So if you want to be alternative, then you have to go to Hot Topic. If you want to be preppy or popular, it's Abercrombie and Finch or Hollister. I don't know. But it's just, there's an unspoken rule that if you want to be this way, you have to go here, you have to do this, you have to be this.
Do you recognize these brands? Nike, Lululemon, American Eagle, H&M, Bench, Hot Topic, Aritzia? If you look around, it isn't hard to see that we belong to a hyper-consumer society that sells the belief that you are what you own. Do you really want to base your identity on what brand you belong to or what you can accumulate? Through these brands, we all know right away what clique or social group you belong to. I mean, you might as well wear a sign that says, "I'm a loner," "I'm a jock," or "I'm a preppy princess." You may think that wearing certain brands works to build your confidence in your identity, but all this does is create an even larger divide between the invisibles and the booming socialites of society. When you walk through the halls, it's pretty easy to spot the elites, all decked out in the latest fashions from Abercrombie and Finch or Hollister. Then you turn the corner and observe the simplicity and style of the more quiet kids who stick to humble brands such as Old Navy or Aeropostale, and realize that brands are all implemented for the sole sake of being cash cows, and there really is no benefit to this level of superficiality.
So do you think that the media or any other recurring news events affect or define the cliques at our school? How so?
I think like on TV, like when you see like movies like such as Mean Girls or like even TV shows, they always have like groups of people that are like together and like they're the same type of personality. So like usually people start hanging around people that are the same as them.
The shows that we watch nowadays, such as Degrassi, they really show people, or like losers, as they would call it, to be like, felt left out, and people look down upon them. And I think media is I think the biggest influence, especially for high school students, the way we perceive cliques and the way we look at different kinds of people as being popular, as being loners, or as being geeks. And there's so many stereotypes, and it's just really hard to not look at high school the same way.
Yes. The film and television industry. Almost every teen's go-to place for quick, accessible entertainment, and the less obvious reason to learn the real truths regarding the society that they live in. Right, like popular recent teen movies such as Mean Girls and High School Musical reflect an ideal model society so well, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't these current examples of media depict various social group behaviors to match those of ridiculous opposing stereotypes? Ultimately assuring viewers that the social divide that they witness every day in their lives is in fact part of the norm? I mean, we have the jocks, the nerds, the stoners, and the elite populars, who all rank with some level of reverence one way or another. And then, of course, we have the losers, who are basically at the bottom of the social pyramid, at least according to the tenacious populars. The loners and outcasts are the least important, almost invisible to the eyes of the socialite. And if the immorality of the situation still hasn't hit you, take the time to consider all the conventional TV series a lot of you invest your time in. From iconic teen dramas like One Tree Hill and Degrassi, teens are depicted and labeled according to their social status, which is wrongly deemed as an ultimate necessity in order for one to be content with their life. The elite are always cheerful, and the loners and outcasts are eternally miserable? Wrong, at least according to the final input of our trusty MCI peers and staff.
Or in order to correct this social injustice, and do you think that this is realistic and attainable?
Yes. One major change that I think will help fix the social injustice is first of all the dirty looks have to stop, making people feel awkward.
So do you think that this issue can be resolved in any way? And what's a reasonable first step for the general MCI population to carry out?
I think like when you're seeing something like happen, like someone making fun of somebody or like bullying someone, like in general, you could just go and stop it, or like you know, like we've learned about so many times, like, you know, like don't be a bystander, like try to make like try to stop and make a difference. So like you could always like if not yourself, get like somebody else to make it stop, or like also talk to the a victim after too, to see how they're feeling and just kind of just make them feel better about it.
And I think we can also like have like more workshops, or like kind of like a day of change workshop that happened recently at our school. Yeah, it really promotes kind of like, you know, becoming a better person, forgiving others, not being rude, not targeting people, not being, you know, not being a bully. So I think raising awareness in those kind of manners to become a better person would really help.
Well, there you have it, folks. I guess teens aren't the vicious vultures that we initially imagined them to be, always victimizing those of a lower social class, or at least that isn't their intention. In fact, let's take a look back at one of Hollywood's most classic coming-of-age movie releases, The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club follows the lives of 5 teenagers, each a member of a different high school clique, who are forced to spend a Saturday in detention together. They begin as strangers, but soon come to realize through confiding in each other that they all amount to more than just their individual quintessential stereotypes. At the beginning of the film, their social system is established in a way that divides people according to their backgrounds, experiences, and interests, which leads them to believe that it is impossible for them to coexist with all of these dissimilarities. The characters soon learn that their lives are in fact driven by the same forces that all teenagers have dealt with: pressuring parents, the desire to belong, abuse, stress, and the list goes on, which is ultimately what brings them together.
Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it was we did wrong. But we think you're crazy to make us write an essay telling you who we think we are. And you see us as you want to see us. In the simplest terms, with the most convenient definitions. But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain,
and an athlete,
and a basket case, a princess,
and a criminal. Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Okay, let's face it. We all know that Hollywood films usually exaggerates what happens to the characters, and in reality, the divide between people of different cliques is in fact inevitable. So is there really any way to control their destructive, exclusive nature? Perhaps the only thing you can do is be self-aware. Reconsider your social group. Don't push people away because of their differences. Instead, search for similarities. Make an effort to befriend diverse types of people. And remember, stepping out of your comfort zone can be awkward and at times frightening, but often rewarding.
Don't you forget about me.